What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility, what the data points are saying, and where I see things going by the end of the week. And of course, with that said, the best way to do options. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So when it comes down to Lucid, it did close Friday 1.27% in the green. So a lot of good momentum. And on the actual technicals for the last 4 days, it's been trying to kind of transition from the lower to the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. So it does have a lot of resistance above it. So it has that central Bollinger Band and also the 50-day moving average. But generally, a lot of the data that I'm going to be sharing with you is kind of optimistic. And as far as volumes, so 20.52 million shares being traded, 24 is the average. So a lot of good transactions that did occur on Friday. These are all of them, as you can see on the secondary market, over $100,000. So a fair amount. And similarly, dark pool was very, very hot, no different than any other day. So of course, that's a fairly good thing. When it comes down to dark pool, that's linked to shorting. So I'll share that with you in a second. But starting off with options, there was a grand total of $587,000 in calls being purchased versus $278,000 in puts. So based on this information, clearly people are anticipating for it to trend up, and most likely that is because of just the technicals. It's on the kind of edge of breaking out. But again, I'll touch on that in a second. If you are optimistic and bullish, this shows all the calls. So the strike prices, expiry dates, it is anticipated by the end of next week, so September the 8th, to be between the $6.50 and $7 range. So kind of just a little bit higher. And of course, with that range in mind, then going over to the fib levels, you have to anticipate that a breakout might actually happen. So with it closing at $6.36, and that was from Friday, it is currently trading between this S1 and the pivot. So as it stands right now, $6.52 is a very strong resistance, vice versa, $5.88 is a strong support. So just kind of keep that in mind going into next week. So as soon as it does break over the 652, then most likely it should be kind of trading within this range, so 652 to 715. And similarly, that's what options are kind of pointing to, that it'll be between this P and this R1. And keep in mind, once it does break above that, this is where hypothetically it will be above that 50-day moving average. And we already do know in the past, when Lucid does break above that 50-day moving average, things generally work in its favor. And at the time of doing this video, there hasn't been any real press releases, no SEC filings, nothing like that. The only event for Lucid, it looks like they're doing a 5-day tour or event, September the 5th to September the 10th, and it looks like it's going to be in Munich. So they're really pushing pretty heavily to more so establish a foundation for just marketing. So Germany clearly is going to be their pivot point in Europe. So definitely, I think that's a pretty good thing. But outside of this, coming from a larger standpoint, there's also this aspect. So these are all the companies unveiling their earnings. C3 AI might be the only one to really affect the broader market, because of course, AI has gone up quite a lot. A lot of people are saying that it's a bubble essentially. So if their earnings are bad, you never know. That might be an indication of things going down and drag a lot of the tech and NASDAQ down with it. But who knows? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. It also looks like Lucid did extend their Pure Summer event, so that might be because of one or two things. Might be very successful in that, and of course they're trying to push, and of course they're just trying to push a lot more sales, or vice versa. It might not have been that successful and they're just trying to continue it just to get whatever they can from it. So let me know your thoughts on that, kind of a hit and miss kind of viewpoint on that. But when it comes down to shorts, like I mentioned, there was a lot, and there usually is a lot of dark pool transactions that is linked to shorting. So I'll give you an overview of that. So right now, going into next week, short score is currently 75, utilization is 89.36%. And looking right here, shorts, it's currently sitting at 24.12% of the free float that's being shorted. 199.6 million shares overall are being shorted. So like I've said in the past, I do feel that this is just relatively too high from what it should be. And based on at least the technicals and a lot of the other bullish data points, I feel like shorts might actually start to return their shares, because there's a lot of good signals that's happening on a larger scale that's to indicate that maybe the economy might be heading for an expansion. So once again, that definitely would benefit companies such as Lucid. And so when it comes down to what I feel might be coming, I do actually agree with a lot of the options that it most likely will be trading between this range, so the P and the R1. I don't feel, unless there's something that does come out coming from Lucid specific that might be special, that would cause it to get above this R1. So obviously I do feel that 652 to 715 is very realistic. So as far as what to do for options, so with this upcoming, so September the 8th expiry date, I do feel that there's two things that you can do that I generally like to do. One of which is sell puts, and second, sell covered calls. So when it comes down to covered calls, you generally want the price to be below what your strike price is. So the fact is, I feel like even though it might not necessarily be that high of a premium, 750 might be the strike to kind of aim for. But keep in mind, with the market opening on Tuesday, you do not have to do it straight away. You might be able to wait for a spike up to maybe high sixes, and then that's when you can do the covered call. Again, you guys do your own due diligence, because as well, I'm not a financial advisor, but when I do options, I just try to have a target in mind of just to collect the premium. So as far as selling covered calls, I feel like 750 might be the point to go for. Vice versa, oddly enough, I do feel it might be bold, but you can always cover and close it down the line, but selling a 650 strike as far as a put. So again, that might be very advantageous, get you some good premiums. And if it does close at the end of the week close to that 650 range, then yeah, you can always just essentially just buy it back and close out your position, or just let it exercise. Because one thing I really do like about selling puts, especially on companies that I generally like, is the fact that if it does get exercised, then yeah, I buy more of the companies that I like at the price I want. So once again, there's different viewpoints on how that might be playing, but again, when I do weekly options, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And a lot of the things as well that I did mention in this video are actually what kind of makes me determine this. So a lot of the data points are very bullish. So like I said, I feel like there might be some upside coming. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, selling, holding, what you have been doing with Lucid in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo, link in the description below and also the comments. Sign up for a free account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock can be valued up to $2,000. So this is one of the best deals that you can get on the market. Link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate you all watching.